Hello and welcome everybody to my channel Omni Bio Entrance, and today we will be discussing University of Hyderabad MSc Entrance Examination question paper for the subject Plant Biology and Biotechnology conducted in the year 2016. I will be discussing only the biology part. So coming to the first question, if a gene has different effect depending on whether it is inherited maternally or paternally, this is called as. So that kind of inheritance, it is called as DNA imprinting. Answer is option C. Now, incomplete dominance, it is a form of gene interaction in which both the alleles of a gene at a particular locus are only partially expressed, and this will result in an intermediate or different type of phenotype. Then karyotype, it is an individual's collection of chromosomes. Then which molecule in the nucleus controls the copying of DNA? So it is polymerase that controls the copying of DNA during DNA replication. So carcinogen, that is a substance capable of causing cancer in living tissue. Protein kinase, it will selectively modify other proteins by covalently adding phosphate groups to them. Then cyclin is a family of protein that control the progression of a cell through the cell cycle, and it will activate cyclin dependent kinases, that is enzymes or group of enzymes required for synthesis in each cell cycle, each phase of the cell cycle. Then what chemicals do plant absorb through the roots to allow them to make proteins? So they are nitrates that the plants absorb through the root to make proteins. So nitrates are taken into the plant through the roots, then they are pulled up into the plant where they are converted into 20 different kinds of amino acids. So answer is option A, that is nitrate. Then in which direction do the sodium ions and potassium ions move in the sodium potassium pump? So the sodium potassium pump uses active transport. So it is an active transport, so it is powered by ATP, and it moves molecules from higher concentration to a lower concentration. Sodium potassium pumps moves sodium ions out and the potassium ions into the cell. And for each ATP that is broken down, 3 sodium ions move out and 2 potassium ions move in. So the answer is K positive into the cell, Na positive out. Answer is option B. Then which of the following plants does not have xylem? So mosses and leafy liverworts have structures called phyllets that resemble leaves but only consist of single sheets of cells with no internal air spaces, no cuticle or stomata, and no xylem or phloem. So which of the following plants do not have xylem? So it is bryophyte, and out of these options it is Markantia polymorpha, that is a bryophyte. So answer is option D. The polar transport is characteristic of the plant hormone. So it is characteristic of auxins, and out of these indole 3-acetic acid or indole acetic acid is an auxin. So answer is option C. Then Darwin showed that all species can rapidly increase in population, but most wild populations are dash over time. Most wild populations are decreasing over time. So answer is A. Then zygotic meiosis is a characteristic feature of. So in zygotic meiosis, meiotic division happens in zygote, resulting in the development of haploid cells or haploid individuals. So zygotic meiosis is represented in the haplontic life cycle of many algae, that is including Chlamydomonas. So answer is zygotic meiosis is a characteristic feature of algae. Answer is option A. Death of protoplasm is prerequisite for the vital function like. So death of protoplasm is prerequisite for vital function like in the case of transport of sap. Okay, so answer is option A. Then a hybrid is the progeny obtained from a cross between. So it is a cross between two facultative apomics, that is called a hybrid. Answer is option B. Two cells A and B are contiguous. Cell A has osmotic pressure 10 atmospheres and turgor pressure 7 and diffusion pressure deficit of 3. Cell B has osmotic pressure 8, turgor pressure 3, diffusion pressure deficit 5. The result will be, okay, so movement of water from cell A to B, that is the answer. Answer is option C. So the direction of movement of water is from low to high DPD, that is from 3 atmosphere in cell A to 5 atmosphere in cell B. Okay. Then one set of plants were grown at 12 hours day and 12 hours night period cycles, and they flowered, while in the other set night phase was interrupted by a flash of light and the plants did not produce flowers. Under which one of the following categories will you place these plants? So in the case of short day plants, the condition shows that plant requires photo period shorter than the critical day length. This plant needs interrupted dark period for flowering, therefore it is a short day plant, and these plants do not flower if the dark period is interrupted with flashes of light. Okay, so here it was 12 hours day, 12 hours night period cycle, and they flowered, while in the other set night phase was interrupted. So when night phase was interrupted, it did not produce flowers, so it is naturally a short day. Then what is spheroplast? So spheroplast, it refers to a bacterium or a plant cell bound by its plasma membrane, the cell wall being deficient or lacking and the whole having a spherical form. That is called a spheroplast. Answer is option A. In non-dividing cells, a complex of DNA and proteins would be. So it would be when the cell is not in the process of dividing, the DNA is present as part of chromatin material. Okay, when the cell is about to divide, the chromatin gets arranged into chromosomes. So when it is not dividing, it is the chromatin. Answer is option B. Then glyphosate is a systemic herbicide which acts by inhibition of. So glyphosate is an organophosphorus compound, specifically a phosphonate, which acts by inhibiting the plant enzyme 5-enol pyruvyl shikimate 3-phosphate synthase. So the answer is enol pyruvate shikimate 3-phosphate synthase of the aromatic amino acid biosynthetic pathway. So answer is option A. Why do restriction enzymes do not destroy the DNA of the organism that make them? Because restriction enzymes or restriction endonucleases, there are enzymes produced by bacteria to degrade foreign DNA, most typically the DNA introduced by bacteriophages upon infection. Then why it doesn't the restriction enzyme break down the bacterium's own DNA? Because bacteria hide the restriction sites on their DNA by attaching methyl group to these sites. So answer is option D, that is modification enzyme protect their DNA by methylation. Answer is option D. PCR can be used to synthesize RNA provided that Taq polymerase does not work on RNA samples. So PCR cannot be used to directly amplify RNA molecules. So answer is option A, that is RNA polymerase is used instead of Taq polymerase. Then the number of cells present in angiosperm embryo sac are. So there are 7 cells that are present in angiosperm and embryo sac. Option C. The mature embryo sac is a 7-celled and 8-nucleate structure. The 8 nuclei are arranged in precise position. One nucleus is located in the egg cell near the opening of the embryo sac, and 2 nuclei are located in 2 synergid cells which flank the egg cell. The synergids and egg cell together constitute the egg apparatus. Then you have two nuclei located in a single cell called the central cell, present in the middle of the embryo sac, and they are called as the polar nuclei. Then the other three nuclei reside in the antipodals, which are located at the end of the embryo sac, and the antipodals lie opposite to the egg cell. So it is 7-celled 8-nucleate structure. Then coming to the next question. Why are plants more readily manipulated by genetic engineering than animals? Because the somatic cells of plant can often give rise to a complete plant. That means plants are totipotent. So answer is option C. Which of the following have no enzymes of their own? So viruses, which are non-living, easily crystallizable entities and do not have enzymes of their own, but they make use of the enzyme machinery of the host for their replication. So answer is option B, that is viruses. Then all of the following karyotypes are found in spontaneous abortions. Which of the following is least likely to be found in a live born infant? So option A, that is 46,XY of sex development, is a condition in which individual with one X chromosome and Y chromosome in each cell. The pattern is normally found in males and the genitalia is not clearly male or female. Now 47XX plus 21, that is Down syndrome girl, and and a normal karyotype is written as 46XX or 46XY. There is no comma after 46 in a normal karyotype. Then 47XX plus 16, that is the most common trisomy leading to miscarriage. So answer is option D. Because already it would have aborted. So that will not be present in a live born infant. The next one. An organism with two or more different cell lines originating from a single zygote is called. So it is called mosaic. Genetic mosaicism, it is defined as the presence of two or more cell lineages with different genotypes arising from a single zygote in a single individual. And in contrast, and what is chimera? If distant cell lines derived from different zygotes, the term is known as chimera. Okay. Then kinase reaction. So kinases, they catalyze the phosphorylation of other proteins or substrates which may trigger their activation. So after phosphorylation, these proteins get activated. And phosphorylation, that involves the addition of a phosphate group to the target molecule. So kinase reactions involve the addition of a phosphate group. Answer is option B. Then complete the following statement correctly. FAD is a prosthetic group. So FAD are tightly bound to enzymes so as to control the nature of the oxidizing reducing agent that interact with them. Okay, so the answer is option D. It is tightly bound to the enzyme. So coming to the next question. What is the other name of the chromosome that defines the genetic gender of an individual? That is called as allosome. Answer is option D. The amount of water lost by transpiration from a plant is. So plants lose water in gaseous form or vapor form, that is through the stomata, through the process of transpiration. So around 90% of the water is lost by transpiration from the plant. Then which of the following metal ion is part of plastocyanin molecule? So it is, answer is copper is a part of plastocyanin molecule. Then transgenic rice with high carotenoid level is popularly called. It is called as the golden rice. Answer is option C. Then next one. Two solutions of a substance, it is a non-electrolyte, are mixed in the following manner: 48 ml of 1.5 molar first solution plus 520 ml of 1.2 molar second solution. What is the molarity of the final mixture? So M1 plus V1 is equal to M2 plus V2, that will give total millimoles of the solute. So 480 into 1.5 plus 520 into 1.2, you will get 1344, and total volume is 480 plus 520, so that is 1000, and molarity is number of moles of a solute divided by volume. So 1344 divided by 1000, that will be 1.344 molar. So answer is option B. Then, in which of the following crosses in pea plant 1:1:1 phenotypic ratio will be obtained? So that will be obtained when you cross the heterozygous parent with a recessive homozygous. So it is in the case of option B, that is TTRR and TTRR. Here this will be tall red, and suppose R is red and T is for tall plant. So it will be tall red in this, but in the first genotype. This will be tall red, this will be tall white, this will be short red, and this will be short white. So they are, the phenotypic ratio is in the ratio 1:1:1. So answer is option B. Then, a man heterozygous for the gene causing hemolytic jaundice marries a normal woman for this gene. The disease is due to dominant gene, but only 10% of the individual having genotype that can cause disease actually develop disease. What proportion of the children of the above couple have the probability to have the disease? So I have not shown the D and B options because the answer doesn't come in them, and I have to put this photograph also of this particular calculation. So for that I have not shown the B and D. Okay, so coming to the explanation. So genotype of the man I have written as he is having a hemolytic jaundice. So this disease is due to a dominant gene and it is autosomal. So I have written A capital H to show it is hemolytic jaundice. Heterozygous man, so AH and capital A. Then genotype of the woman. So marries a normal woman for this gene. So she doesn't have the trait. So capital A, capital A. Then A capital H, A into A, and you get these gametes, and these are the offspring. So deceased is to normal will be 1:1 ratio. So only 10% of the people having diseased phenotype actually suffer from the disease. So this turns the ratio to 0.1:1. Thus, proportion of children expected to develop the disease for the given cross is 0.1 divided by 2. So 0.1 children are affected out of 2 children. So 1/20 is the answer. Answer is option A. Then, which of the following statements about allosteric control of enzymatic activity is false? So answer is heterotypic allosteric effectors compete with substrate for binding sites. That is wrong. Whereas other options, that is allosteric effectors, give rise to sigmoidal V0 versus S kinetic plots. Then allosteric proteins are generally composed of several subunits. An effector may either inhibit or activate an enzyme, and heterotrophic allosteric effectors compete with substrate for binding sites. So option D is the false one. Then energy charge of cell. So energy charge of a cell is a measure of the relative concentration of high energy phosphoanhydride bond available in the adenylate pool. So the answer is option D, the extent to which the total adenine nucleotide pool is phosphorylated. So answer is option D. In X chromosome inactivation, all of the X chromosome are inactivated. So it is true or false? So it is false. X inactivation is a process by which one of the copies of the X chromosome is inactivated in a female mammal. So answer is option B. Okay, coming to the next question. A load score refers to. So a load score, LOD stands for logarithm of the odds. In genetics, load score is a statistical estimate of whether two genes or a gene and a disease gene are likely to be located near each other on a chromosome and are therefore likely to be inherited together. So the load score refers to log odds, logarithm of the odds. So answer is option B. Next one. The basis of precipitation of proteins by ammonium sulfate is best described by which of the following statements? So ammonium sulfate binds water molecule, making them less available for hydration of proteins. So answer is option D. This was asked in another, which I don't remember the university, but it was asked. The same question was asked in that university MSc entrance examination also. Then cell division cannot be stopped in which phase of the cell cycle? So that is the S phase. Okay, you cannot stop. The interphase, it has got G1, S and G2 phases. So G1 phase continue cell cycle and enter S phase. Or it can stop cell cycle and enter quiescent stage or go to G0 phase. So stop the cell cycle and undergo differentiation. So these are the options if in the case of G1 phase of the cell cycle. And in S phase, also known as synthetic phase, replication of DNA take place. As the DNA has replicated, its content has become 2 times the normal content. So the S phase must necessarily follow the S phase. Thus the S phase is the point of no return for a cell cycle, and the cell must divide in the M phase of the cell cycle. So once the cell has entered the S phase, it cannot go back. Then plants like Aegle marmelos, Ocimum sanctum and Ficus religiosa are a group of plants designated as sacred species. So answer is option B. Then measuring the absorption of ultraviolet radiation at 260 nanometers can be used to assay the concentration of DNA and RNA because DNA absorbs UV light due to heterocyclic rings of the nucleotides. Its sugar phosphate backbone does not contribute to this absorption. So the answer is option A. The base of each nucleotide absorbs at 260 nanometers. Answer is option A. Then subject that deals with factors that affect the earth and air pollution is termed as. So dendroclimatology, that is a science determining past climates from trees. Dendrohydrology, the science that uses dendrochronology to investigate and reconstruct hydrologic processes such as the river flow and past lake levels. Then dendrochronology, that is the science or technique of dating events, environmental change and archaeological artifacts by using the characteristic pattern of annual growth rings in timber and the tree trunks. So subject that deals with factors that affect the earth and air pollution is termed as climate change. Answer is option B. Then chromosomes which replicate using multiple origins are. So mammalian eukaryotic chromosomes, they contain multiple origin of replication. So answer is option A. Which is the correct about conduction of substance? So organic food moves upwardly and downwardly through the phloem. So answer is option D. Then topoisomerases are enzyme which? So topoisomerases are enzyme that participate in the overwinding or underwinding of DNA. So answer is both polymerization and unwinding activity. So answer is option A. A common structural feature of sieve tube elements and vessel elements is, so xylem vessels become dead and lose their protoplasm due to deposition of lignified secondary wall. Mature sieve tube elements are living cells without a nucleus. So the common structural feature of sieve tube elements and vessel elements is enucleate condition. Answer is option B, because xylem vessels, they are dead and lose their protoplasm, whereas mature sieve tube elements, they are living but without a nucleus. So the structural feature that is common to sieve tube element and vessel element is enucleate condition. Movement of water through semi-permeable membrane produces. So wall pressure is the pressure exerted by the cell wall against turgor pressure. Then suction pressure is the actual pressure by which cell absorb water. Then movement of water from higher concentration to lower concentration through a semi-permeable membrane is called as osmosis, and the pressure required to stop osmosis is called osmotic pressure. And turgor pressure is the pressure applied against the cell wall. So here the answer, that is movement of water through semi-permeable membrane produces osmotic pressure. Answer is option C. Acid concentration of CAM plants is more at, so it is more at night. CAM plants are succulent plants which grow in dry conditions and are exposed to high temperatures. In these plants, stomata open during the night and close during the daytime. At night, CAM plants open their stomata, allowing carbon dioxide to diffuse into the leaves. This carbon dioxide is fixed into oxaloacetate by the enzyme PEP carboxylates that is converted to malate or other organic acids. Hence, the concentration of organic acid increases at night. During the daytime, what happens is these organic acids are broken down to release carbon dioxide which enter Calvin cycle. So answer is option C. Then cell elongation in internodal region of green plants occurs due to action of. So answer is gibberellins. Gibberellins, they stimulate cell elongation in the internodal region by altering the rheological property of the cell wall, and as a result the cell gets lengthened. So answer is option A, that is gibberellin. Then in tissue culture, low cytokinin to auxin ratio causes. So if it is high cytokinin to auxin ratio, it causes shoot differentiation. So low cytokinin to auxin ratio causes root differentiation. So answer is option A, that is root differentiation. Then which among the following is a mismatch? So osmotrophy is a feeding mechanism involving the movement of dissolved organic compounds by osmosis for nutrition. Then organisms that use osmotrophy are called osmotrophs. Then oligotrophy is an organism that can live in an environment that offers very low level of nutrients. So which among the following is an phagotrophs feed by engulfing, and mixotrophs organic and inorganic carbon as nutrient source. So which among the following is a mismatch? That is oligotrophs. They are not nutrient rich, they require very low level of nutrients. So answer is option D. Find out the odd one among the following. So lactose, sucrose, maltose. Okay, now Okay, glucose, fructose, talose, ribose, xylose, arabinose, galactose, talose, lysose. Okay. Then ribose is monosaccharide, xylose is also monosaccharide, arabinose is also monosaccharide. All are aldopentose type. Then glucose is monosaccharide, fructose is monosaccharide, talose is also monosaccharide. Galactose is monosaccharide, talose is monosaccharide, and lysose is also monosaccharide. So the odd one are lactose, sucrose and maltose. They are all disaccharides. All the other options are monosaccharides. So answer is option A. Plant Conservation Day is celebrated every year on. So it is on May 18th. Plant Conservation Day is celebrated. So answer is option A. Then lithotrophs use inorganic compounds as. So a lithotroph is a microorganism that uses inorganic substrates as source of electrons or electron donors to drive energy acquisition using either organic carbon or carbon dioxide as a source of carbon for constructing cellular material. So answer is option C, that is electron donors. Which among the following is not a component of bacterial cell wall? So peptidoglycan is a polymer consisting of sugars and amino acids. So sugars is a component of bacterial cell wall. Then mycolic acid are unique long chain fatty acids found in lipid rich cell walls of mycobacteria including Mycobacterium tuberculosis. Then D amino acids are also a component of bacterial cell wall. So the answer is option D, that is terpenoids. Then this bacterium causes tumor formation on a wide variety of plant species and orders the plant to proliferate its cells and make food for itself. This bacterium also helps in genetic transformation of crop plants. So the bacterium is Agrobacterium tumefaciens. Answer is option D. Then identify the mismatch. Negative staining Klebsiella, acid fast staining Mycobacteria, gram staining Clostridium, and malachite green Escherichia coli. So malachite green is used for bacterial spore staining. Okay, so E. coli does not form spores. So answer is option D. Then next question. Which of the following acids does not exhibit optical isomerism? So lactic acid, it has an asymmetric carbon atom and its mirror image is non-superimposable. That is, mirror image represent different optical isomer. Therefore, lactic acid shows the phenomenon of optical isomerism. So answer is option A, that is lactic acid. Okay, does not exhibit optical isomerism. Okay, then malic acid also does not show optical isomerism. Then this phenomenon is due to the fact that malic acid does not have a chiral center and does not lack symmetric elements. Only those compounds with a chiral center and or non-symmetry elements display optical isomerism. So the answer is option C, that is malic acid. Then the water stress mediated stomatal closure in leaf is mediated by plant hormone. So it is by abscisic acid. Answer is option C. Then if the molar amount of G in DNA sample is 20%, what is the molar amount of T in the sample? So according to Chargaff's rule, the amount of adenine is always equal to that of thymine and amount of guanine is equal to cytosine. So if double-stranded DNA has 20% G, then according to the law, 80% C also. Now the remaining is 100 minus 40. So that represents A plus T molecules. Since A is equal to T, the percentage of adenine molecule is 100 minus 40, that is 60. The 60 divided by 2, that is 30. So answer will be option B, that is 30%. Then a gymnospermic leaf carries 16 chromosomes. The number of chromosomes in its endosperm will be. So endosperm in a gymnospermic plant is haploid structure which is formed without fusion of gametes and represent the female gametophyte. So leaf of gymnosperm, it belongs to generation. So 2n is equal to 16 and n will be 8. So endosperm will be 8. Answer is option B. Term applied to plant having separate male and female plants is, it is dioecious. Answer is option D. Then an abandoned, idled or polluted site. Now this is a repeated question. Answer is option C, that is brownfield. Then Struve detailed mapping studies on the X chromosome of Drosophila established that genes are arranged in linear order on the chromosome. Answer is option D. Dimethylbenzene is also known as silene. Answer is option C. Next one. Glycine is a precursor of. So glycine acts as a precursor for several key metabolites of low molecular weight such as creatine, glutathione, heme, purines and porphyrines. So glycine is a precursor of porphyrines as per this option, because in the option it is given porphyrines. Then pick out the electron transfer route that occurs during light dependent reaction in plants. So process called non-cyclic photophosphorylation, that is light dependent reaction. Electrons are removed from water and passed through pigment system 2 and pigment system 1 before ending up in NADPH. So the answer is option D, that is H2O, P680, P700, NADPH. Answer is option D. The cell that undergoes programmed cell death to become functional is. So sieve tube member are living cells that do not contain a nucleus. So for phloem sieve tube member. Answer is option A. The best approach for preventing over ripening of banana is. So in artificial ripening of banana, uncontrolled application of ethylene gas may cause over ripening of banana. So it can be prevented from over ripening by dipping it in ascorbic acid solution. So answer is option C, that is dipping them in ascorbic acid. Then in Drosophila melanogaster, singed bristles and cut wings are both caused by recessive X-linked alleles. The wild type allele, that is Sn plus Ct plus, are responsible for straight bristles and intact wings respectively. A female homozygous for Sn and Ct plus is crossed to an Sn plus Ct male. The F1 flies are inbred. The F2 males are distributed as follows. What is the map distance between Sn and Ct? So I will be explaining it in the next one. So before that, see the question. So Sn Ct plus and Sn plus Ct, they have the maximum number of progeny. So that will be the parentals. Okay, and Sn Ct and Sn plus Ct plus are the non-parentals or the recombinants. So we have to calculate the map distance. So wild type is Sn plus Ct plus. Parents female, that is Sn Ct plus and Sn plus Ct, that is the male parent, and F1 you get Sn Ct, Sn plus Ct plus. The map distance between Sn and Ct is equal to number of recombinants by total number of progeny into 100. So recombinants are alleles different from the parents are Sn Ct and Sn plus Ct plus. So total number of progeny is 14 plus 34 plus 37 plus 15, that is 100, and map distance is equal to number of recombinants, that is 14 plus 15. 14 plus 15 divided by 100 into 100, that is 29 by 100 into 100, that is 29 MAP units. So the answer is option, I don't know the option. Okay, 29 MAP units is the answer. Okay, which of the following statements about Mendel's breeding experiment is incorrect? The parental plants were true breeding. That is correct. All of the F1 progeny resembled one of the parental plants, but only some of the F2 progeny did. That is also correct. Half of the F1 progeny had the same phenotype as one of the parental plant, and the other half had the phenotype of the other parent. No, that was not observed in the case of Mendel's experiment. So answer is option C. When you cross a tall plant with a short plant, you get only a tall offspring. That is the F1. So it represents only one of the parental plants, but did not have the recessive parental phenotype. Then the traits that disappear in the F1 reappear in the F2 generation. That is also correct. Then a pedigree chart shows. So a pedigree chart that shows the presence or absence of a trait within a family across generation. And the mode of inheritance of a specific gene is also shown by pedigree. So the answer is option D, that is the mode of inheritance of a specific gene. Genotypic ratios of the offspring, no. The type of gametes produced by the parents, no. The genotype of any parent, no. The mode of inheritance of a specific gene, yes, that is correct. So that is shown by pedigree. Man-dominated ecosystem is called, it is called new system. Answer is option C. Then Vibrio cholerae has. So Vibrio cholerae, it has monotrichous flagella. It is highly motile bacterium that possesses a single polar flagellum. So it is a monotrichous flagella. Answer is option A. Which one of the following is incorrect for IMVIC, that is indole methyl red Vogas Prosker citrate test for Klebsiella pneumoniae? So IMVIC tests are a group of individual tests used in microbiology lab testing to identify an organism in the coliform group. So MR negative, VP plus, indole negative. Answer is option D. Then in plant, inulin and pectin they are reserve materials. And inulin, it is a heterogeneous polymer of fructose found in storage form in the roots of the family Compositae. So it is a reserve material. And pectin is a mucopolysaccharide and is an important constituent of plant cell wall. So answer is option A. Now, if the whole in the whole chain is used in non-overlapping frame, how many amino acids are defined by this DNA sequence? So you do not have to overlap and see, it is a non-overlapping frame. So here this ATG, that will be 1, TTT, that will be 2, GGA, that will be 3, and CTA will be 4. So you will get how many amino acids are defined by the DNA sequence is 4. Answer is option B. One of the organic compounds is frequently used in several molecular biology and biochemistry experiments. This organic compound is prepared in 3 steps in the laboratory. This compound is prepared by heating ethyl alcohol or acetone with bleaching powder. The bleaching powder acts as source of chlorine and calcium hydroxide. The finally formed organic compound is, the finally formed organic compound is chloroform. This reaction is called as haloform reaction. So answer is option B. Then Grignard reagent are highly reactive and used in synthesis of alkanes, alkenes, alcohols and aldehydes. Which of the following compounds are Grignard reagent? So methyl magnesium iodide, and ethyl magnesium bromide are Grignard's reagent. So answer is option A. What is the meaning of the term sanguivorous? So parasite which feeds on the blood of cattle. So answer is option A, sanguivorous. This compound gas produces painful blisters on the skin and has very destructive effect on the lungs and air passages. This compound gas is prepared by treating ethylene with sulfur monochloride. This compound gas is mustard gas. Answer is option D. Then lectins are defined as proteins that bind to carbohydrate. So lectin is a protein. Answer is option A. The genus Laminaria that is used for the manufacture of iodine belongs to. So it belongs to an algae, brown algae species or Phaeophyceae. Answer is option A. Then one of the following class of compounds act as an attractant for rhizobium mediated legume root nodulation. This was also a repeated question. It is flavonoids. Answer is option B. A research scholar isolated genomic DNA from rice leaf in the lab and he checked the quality and quantity of DNA using agarose gel electrophoresis. Further, he took a certain amount of DNA in 3 different tubes and added BAM-H1, HIN3 and NOT1 separately. After a few hours of incubation at required temperature, he again checked the final product using agarose gel electrophoresis. Now, what are BAM-H1, HIN3 and NOT1? So, that is the real question. So what did he do? He took isolated genomic DNA, then found the quality and quantity of the DNA using agarose gel electrophoresis. He found up to his whatever level he wants, whether it is good or bad, and how much quantity of DNA he got. Then he took the amount of DNA in 3 different tubes. Then he added BAM-H1 to one tube, HIN3 to the other tube, and not T1 to another tube. Now he incubated at the required temperature. Then he checked the final product using agarose gel electrophoresis. So the question is, what are BAM-H1, HIN3 and NOT1? So BAM-H1, HIN3, NOT1 are all restriction endonucleases. So answer is option D. Then the female sex organ of the bryophyte is called. It is called as archegonium. Answer is option B. The biological role of restriction enzymes in bacteria is to. So restriction enzymes are found in many different strains of bacteria where their biological role is to help in cell defense. These enzymes restrict foreign DNA. That is, if there is a viral infection in the bacteria, the virus will send its DNA into the bacterial cell. So that foreign DNA that enters the cell will be destroyed by restriction endonucleases. So the biological role of restriction enzyme is cleave foreign DNA. Answer is option C. When carboxylic acid reacts with alcohol in the presence of a strong catalyst like H2SO4 and HCl, this lead to the formation of esters. Answer is D. Now, which of the following is known as Hinsberg reagent? So, benzene sulfonyl chloride is known as Hinsberg reagent. It reacts with primary and secondary amines to form sulfonamides. So, answer is option A. Then, the following structure of an organic acid is found naturally in many plant species. What is the name of this organic acid? It is called as tartaric acid. Answer is option A. Which of the following eukaryotic cell wall components are nitrogenous compounds? So answer is chitin. Answer is option C. Beta glucans are polymers of glucose and does not contain nitrogen. So answer is option C. Then lignin and cellulose, you all know it. A special pigment complex found in cyanobacteria is called. So it's called as phycobilisome. Answer is option A. Then citric acid cycle occurs in the mitochondrial matrix. Option D. Then alpha helix has 3.6 amino acid residues per turn, option C. Then next one, the enzyme dehydrogenase can be classified as, it can be classified as an oxidoreductase, option A. Then silent mutation is most likely to result from substitution of the third base of a codon. Answer is option B, that is the Wobble hypothesis. So if you substitute the third base of a codon, it will code for the same amino acid. Okay, so it will result in silent mutation. Then, which genus of bacteria listed below grows best at 110 degrees Celsius? So it is Sulfolobus that grows best at 110 degrees Celsius. If a trait has a heritability of 60%, how much of the variation is caused by genes? So heritability, it is a measure of how well differences in the people's gene account for differences in their traits, and it ranges from 0 to 1. So if the heritability is close to 0, it means that almost all the variability in the trait among the people is due to environmental factors with very little influence from genetic differences. And if heritability is 1, it indicates that almost all of the variability in traits come from genetic differences with very little contribution from environmental factors. Now, what does it mean when we say a trait has 60% heritability? So it means that 60% of our phenotype or personality is inherited from your parents and 40% comes from the environment. Okay, so how much variation is caused by genes? So it is 60% variation caused by genes, because 60% is of our phenotype, it is inherited from our personality, or it's inherited from our parents and 40% come from the environment. So answer is option B. A mouse eats plant seeds. If a mouse is eaten by a snake and the snake is in turn eaten by an eagle, the eagle is. So mouse is eaten by the primary consumer. So mouse is the primary consumer, so it eats plant seeds. Then mouse is eaten by a snake, that is the secondary consumer, and the snake is eaten by the eagle, so that is the tertiary consumer. So answer is option D, that is tertiary consumer. Match the items in column 1 with those in column 2. Peritrichous flagellation. So that is by Escherichia coli. So AL. A will be the answer. Only AL is given only for option A. Okay, we will see the others. Then living fossil. Living fossil is ginkgo. Rhizophore is Selaginella. Smallest flowering plant is Wolffia, and largest perennial alga is Macrocystis. So answer is option A. A, L, B, J, C, M, D, N, E, K. Which of the following microorganism is used for production of citric acid in industry? So it is Aspergillus niger that is used for citric acid production in industries. So that's it. Thank you for watching my channel. Please like, share and subscribe. Thank you.